All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back after the weekend. And let's go straight into the superpower. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. So by repeating your word or phrase, or using your anchor, or imagining holding your subject in your arms in a hug, and focusing in on everything you love and appreciate about them. Very good. And now start to feel your heart opening, that expansion feeling in your chest. Allowing that light, that energy to shine out from your heart. Very, very good. And now imagine that light or energy spreading down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Very, very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill that little you, yourself as a child, from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love that little you just for existing. Very good. And now see that light, imagine that light or energy overflowing from that little you, that power overflowing from that little you and filling everything and everyone in your childhood, no matter what, shining that light into any darkness, feeling that empowerment. Very, very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill everyone who's on the call today, everyone who's on camera, everyone who's off camera. Fill every person with that light, that energy, that love. Love each one just for existing. Very good job. All right, you can open your eyes if you haven't closed. And a big welcome back to everyone. It's lovely to see you all as always. And so now I'm going to check in with each person. So Chris, you're first up. How are you today? You were first on my screen. Oops. And so while Chris is doing that, just to let you know that if you're new on the call, if you're not on camera, I won't come round to you to ask how you are in case you want to be incognito. If you would like to speak, just unmute yourself or put it in the chat. If you put your question or your comment in the chat and you don't say, I can use your name, I won't use your name in case you want to be incognito. So that's that. And the second thing is, if everybody could send a private chat to Steve with their targets. So if you have a target you'd like us to aim at today, we're trying to get a little bit more efficient with that because there's quite a lot. If you send a private chat to Steve with your target, and then he will send all of them to me before we do the targeting at the end of the session. All right, so Chris, you're having a little trouble. I can't seem to unmute you. I've pressed unmute. You didn't get a notification up there, but it's not working. Okay, well, I'll come back to you. You just let me know if it starts working, all right? Okay, and then Lisa is next. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you today?
Oh, good, good, good. I had an idea this weekend that really was really fun that I did. And I thought of you and laughed in bliss. So, you
Lovely.
know what I mean? And it's just like, it's so incredible how you just look at everything that I do anyway. I make it a practice and I do love wherever I go, no matter what.
Good.
Um, I wrote down notes. So I filmed myself doing what I love to do in a little kid state, even though I look like myself, you know. But I saw myself as a little kid state. But I filmed what I love to do on a video, and then I referred to it to get me in that state too. So that helps a lot. So and then you laugh, and then you go, ah, you know, and here comes the animals, yay, you know. And so when I was doing that, a little gopher family came up and started eating behind me. I was so funny. Little
Oh,
babies. It was really cool.
oh, lovely.
And so, yeah, so really incredible things happen with this, your method. So, and then it's been changing a lot of people, and then a lot of people tell other people, and it's really cool. So I found something in your book. I'll make this really brief. This is the business one.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just am going to read a short paragraph. So this is on back to your future reverse visualization. And I just put down, decide what you like, think about what you want to create in your business or whatever it is will be like once you achieved what you desire. And then you ask yourself all these questions. What would your ideal life in love look like? Everything, you know, with the loving state. So whatever you do to change your childhood memories in love, and then do it with everything, like you always say, like do it with your family, your other generations of family, and whatever you can think of, even if you don't know them, because it affects everything you do, you know. So anyways, that's it. So
Fantastic. Thank you, Lisa.
so that's what I did.
Wonderful. And I love that idea. That's such a cool idea to film yourself doing what you love in the child state. That is beautiful. And not everyone's going to be able to do that. So if you know, and I wouldn't have been able to do that a couple of years ago. So if you find you can't do it, it's just programs there. Use no pressure. You don't have to do it. But if you can do it, of course, that'll be very powerful. And
Yeah.
as you change stuff, you know, as you change more and more memories, you'll probably find that you get a little bit more relaxed and able to do it.
Yeah. Well, there was I didn't feel comfortable, like what you're saying at first. It's like, you know, and then once you get into this, you know, the state, you start shifting, and then you go, oh, you know, what am I talking about? I love this. Yeah, and that's it. So
Very good. So thank you so much, Lisa. As always, you
Thank you.
provide such great value here.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Love. All right, and Katrina's next. Hi, Katrina.
Hi, Odile. Yes.
Yeah, how are you today?
Yeah, all is good, but yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, you know the sentence from Friday, it's too good to be true.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've changed that. It's no longer true for me, you know, that sentence.
Right.
Yeah, because I feel it to be true now, because it feels really good. It feels good because I am feeling good. So it's all true.
Good.
Relating to, I can't remember.
No, that's great. That's perfect. Well done. So that feels, so when you say now, it's whatever that opposite is. So I've got in my head, it's true and it's good, or it's good and it's true, or however that phrase is for you now, that feels authentic now.
Yes.
Good job. Well done. And it reminds me of one that I had from my childhood. Too good to be true was one of them. And another one was there'll be tears at bedtime. That was one that I changed as well, because my grandmother used, whenever we were having too much fun, supposedly, or laughing too much, my grandmother would say, oh, there'll be tears at bedtime. So similar kind of thing, too good to be true. So I'm just saying that for anyone else who's watching who may have that one. So well done, Katrina. That's fantastic. And how do you feel?
Mm-hmm. I feel wonderful in that department.
Good.
But I've moved into a new department.
Okay.
So, can I disclose what it is?
Of course, please do.
Right. So we'll just call it an event, the beginning, how
Yes.
I was at the beginning and how I was at the end. And basically the question is, what's the main driver left behind this? I have done some work on it, but I can't find I think there's still something there, but okay, right. So how was I feeling? I was feeling loved, special, important, getting attention, admiration, and I felt really good. So that was at the beginning. At the end of the event, I felt sick. Others were getting the attention. I didn't feel special. Others were getting admired. This made me feel insecure, uptight, tense, did not feel confident within me. Another wee bit I've written down is betrayed by the person who I thought had eyes only for me. So I started to feel bad about myself, rejecting myself. I had lost. There was no way I could compete with the other people.
Right.
So,
very good. Okay. So about how old were you when this event happened?
oh, in my 30s.
Okay. So an adult.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. So now, of course, we're looking for the same feeling, those feelings that you've just described there, the feelings from that experience in your childhood. Where in your childhood did you feel those same feelings? So, you know, not getting the attention, feeling insecure, all of that. Either just that or the combination of you feeling great and you feeling confident in that, and then it changes because you're not getting the attention that you were relying on, or because what you felt there in your 30s in that event was absolutely informed and determined by childhood. So it was nothing to do with that event. As that event was happening, your subconscious was referring to whatever in your childhood and then prompting those stress chemicals that made you notice and see it that way, that you're not getting the attention, they're getting the attention, and feeling that insecurity and I'm not safe. And again, bearing in mind, because as a child, not getting attention, other people getting the attention and I'm not getting the attention, that's life or death. Well, it's death, basically. It's a threat to your survival. That's why those feelings are so strong. And I know them well. I've had that in the past myself. And it's completely not to do with the adult experience. It's to do with the childhood thing. You change that and the adult one changes automatically.
I can't get, the other thing actually, I put down here the driver was feeling inferior. But I can't get a memory in childhood where I felt as a child. I don't know how to get that piece.
All right. So, I mean, we have addressed some memories already where that was the case. Your brothers were treated differently to you. You weren't treated as the special one. The one in the shop with the shopkeeper and your mum and the doll, is that one still new? That's the new memory still there of that one?
Oh yes. Uh-huh.
Good, good. Very good.
My mother decided on the doll, yeah.
Great. And so now when you think of your childhood, what's the first thing that comes to mind right now? Could be the old or the new, it doesn't matter, whatever the first thing is.
I'm blank. I'm actually, because I'm tired after like all day. I have been working on this, so I'm sort of slightly drained now.
Yes, I can understand that. So let me ask you this then. So, and that's okay. So you'll need to rest. Your brain will need to process what you've been working on anyway. But what we can do is ask, first of all, how would it feel, and is it possible to create a memory in your childhood where everybody is paying attention to just you? The attention is purely on you. It could be a party, it could be just dinner with the family, it could be school, it could be all of those.
Well, I did get at school, I did get all the attention was on me, and it was terrible.
Ah, okay. So what was wrong with it, getting all the attention?
Well, there was silence in the room, and then my name was called out, so I immediately thought I was in trouble. I had to go to the headmaster's table. There was the older boys around the table doing their work. So he brought me up and informed me that one of the boys fancied me. So, yes. Yeah. So I was really
nice about that. Yeah.
Hmm?
I remember you telling us about that one. Yes. Now, did you change it? Is it changed, or is it still the old one?
Oh, still the old one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we need to change that anyway, whether that's linked to this or not. That definitely will be linked to other. It will definitely be providing references for other issues, at least. So we want to change it to the opposite, positive, empowering. So what would have been, so let's go back to that moment. So there's little you in the classroom, and you hear your name and the headmaster's calling you up. Now, if you could wave a magic wand, and it can be absolutely anything, there's no limit to the special effects and budget in your mind, what would that little you have ideally loved that to have been? If she had a magic wand, she could wave it. What's the reason he's calling you? Pardon?
And Lisa, my wand doesn't work.
Well, if you were to be granted whatever you want, what would you have preferred happen that day? Why is he calling you up? Have you won something? Have you done something brilliantly? Has he got a puppy for you, or a pony, or a doll, or some kind of gift, prize?
I can't get over the shock of it.
Okay, very good. So that shock. So where did the shock happen? When he called your name, or when you discovered why? Where does the shock start? The first indication.
Just my name, Katrina. It was sort of very authoritarian and out of, oh my God.
Right, very good. Okay, so let's grab that piece of data. Katrina, your name being called, what else does it remind you of in your childhood? Any other experiences of your name being called out? How did you know to be worried about that?
Yes, I was worried, but I don't know.
So any other experiences, any previous experiences of someone saying your name and you getting into trouble, or bad news, or anything like that? Any other shock related to your name being called out? And it's okay if you can't remember one, that's okay.
No, before that day, no.
Okay, all right. So tell me, when your mother or your father said your name, what did it usually mean? When you heard them say your name, what was usually the reason for them saying your name? That, your full name, Katrina.
I never really heard my name.
Okay, all right.
So it's like everybody.
Sorry, no, you say? Everybody.
It's like everybody come, tea's ready, out you go, there was no sort of.
Right. Okay. So now let's look at the headmaster. So this was the headmaster that said this, that called your name?
The primary school, yeah.
Okay, very good. So how did you see him? What was when you saw the headmaster, you think of the headmaster, what's there? Was he a kind, sweet, gentle man?
I was scared of him. Yeah.
I figured. Yes, of course.
I thought I was in trouble.
There, yeah. So, sorry, you were always in trouble, did you say?
No.
Oh,
never in trouble, but I thought I was in trouble.
thought you were in trouble, yes. So what's your earliest experience with the of the headmaster, or what's your worst experience of the headmaster, apart from that memory? Anything else? And it could be to you, or it could be witnessing something.
Yeah, witnessing him being really, really aggressive with whatever.
There it is. There it is. That's how you knew to be worried. So I just wanted to check if there was any link with your name, but it was the fact that it was him, and the tone of voice, and your subconscious was referring to the references you'd witnessed before of how it's danger. All right, so let's change those. So do you have one that stands out, one memory of seeing him or experiencing him being aggressive that can represent all of them?
But there's two different ones. There was one with my cousin, and then there was one with the guy who was always in trouble.
Okay.
He was always getting whipped. The shock, the girl, my cousin getting smacked right across the face was
Wow. Okay,
quite violent.
that'll do it. So having witnessed that, when you heard your name like that, that's what your subconscious was expecting. And that must have, of course it was a shock. Okay, so let's change it. So you've got your cousin and the headmaster, right, in this memory?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now the question is, can you change it without bringing the emotions down, or do you need to bring the emotions down first? So what we're aiming for is that instead of getting smacked, the headmaster and your cousin doing high five.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, there's no emotion. No.
Good job. So the surprise is not the smack. The surprise is he's done something amazing, or he's won something, and the headmaster is pleased with him, proud of him, and they're doing a high five. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Good job. So that's that one. Now let's go to the other one, the boy who was always in trouble. Let's see what we can change that to. So instead of being always in trouble, let's change it to he was always being silly, being funny, and the headmaster finds it funny. How does that sound?
Okay, yes, that would be, yeah,
Good.
excellent. Yeah.
Good. Very good, Katrina. And because you've done so much work already, these are easy for you to change. So for anyone else watching that has a little more trouble with this, use the back and forth with the superpower, and you may have to rewrite the headmaster or whoever it is as childhood, because if they'd grown up differently, they would have been a different person. So you want to end up with them being a fun, kind, gentle, enthusiastic, supportive person. And if they'd had a different childhood, that's how they would have grown up. So you may need to change that. And if you can't, you may need to write a due justice letter. So hopefully all of that will help. Well done, Katrina. Fantastic. So once you've practiced those two memories there, then come back to you now. And he's calling you, but he's calling you because you've won something, or he's proud of you, or something like that. You've achieved something, you've won something, there's a prize, there's a cup, you're top of the class. Any of those help?
Yes, I'll have all of them.
Good. Very, very good. And then once you've practiced that, then come back to the 30-year-old memory, the one where you were in your 30s, and see if you're able to change that once you've changed the childhood ones. So then you change that one to the opposite, positive and empowering. So the attention doesn't go away from you. Everybody is focused on you because you're so fabulous. You look amazing, you're fun, you're sweet, you're beautiful, you're kind and compassionate, everybody's dancing, something like that, and the focus absolutely is on you.
Okay, well that might be a little bit harder, but I'll do my best.
Okay, and the only reason that's a bit harder is because the childhood ones aren't established yet. The new childhood memories aren't established yet. So you need to do those first, make sure that you make them strong, practice them until they're well established, and then come to the one when you're in your 30s. And if it still won't change, do the same process. It just means there's another reference somewhere.
And those can change that. That's unreal.
Yeah, and it makes sense because if you think about it, those are GPS coordinates. Those are proof. So here's the thing. When you think of the memory when you were an adult, as you think of that memory in real time, your subconscious is referring to the evidence, the so-called proof, that proves it's you don't get the attention is bad, and if you don't get the attention, you're in danger, whatever's there. And we don't even know if that is the references, but because those memories came up, it means your subconscious has linked them.
Okay.
So whatever it is, anything in the childhood needs to be the opposite, positive and empowering, needs to be wonderful, because it in real time as an adult, the subconscious is always referring to find out, how do I react to that? What does this mean? And how do I survive it?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thanks a million. Yeah.
You're very welcome. Good job, you. And thank you for sharing. All right. And then Tina. Hi, Tina. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm very good.
Looking very cute.
Awesome.
Yay.
I feel better and better.
Good.
So I was thinking today, like, I really feel that calmness and peace inside me, which I wanted. That, like, this was my dream to feel that way.
Oh, fantastic.
And this makes me happy. So I am happy because I have peace in me and back and forth. So I feel so good.
That is wonderful to hear.
Yes. I want to share with you something. We were practicing the superpower, so I practice every day. And I had a little problem with my ex-husband. We were talking about my son's stuff. I had to fix something, finish, and he usually is not nice to me, but one time he just hung up on me, and I was like, okay, this like touched me. So I was every day practicing superpower, like, and I was sending the energy to everywhere, whatever I wanted. And in the end, I was like you, saying, okay, who is bothering me today, or whatever, what is bothering me? And I say, oh, he is the one. Yeah. Oh, I sent this love to him. I don't know, it was like 2-3 days maybe. And one day he called me, I pick up the phone, which I was thinking, never again I'm gonna talk to him, but I have to finish the problem. And I was shocked. I know him for 28 years, and he never ever said to me that he's appreciating what I'm doing. And I was like, what? This was first time I hear something from him. And
that's fantastic. Well done. Yes, that's exactly.
This is one good thing. Another thing, I was thinking, like, before, like, people, I wanted to be with people, have a great friends, go to party, but I didn't like people. It's a great combination, right? So I forgot about it completely, but I'm working on myself and doing all that stuff. And I was thinking last time, like, people don't bother me anymore like they used to bother me. Like, something changed.
Yeah.
I am home right now, but I'm going to see when I'm going to go to work. It will be the same thing, but I feel different. So for sure, there are changes going on.
Oh, I'm so happy and excited for you, Tina. Yeah. That is amazing. Wonderful and well done, you, because doing the work. If if you don't do it, then you can't get the results. But you have been fantastic in staying on track and doing the work. So well done. You're a beautiful, shiny example.
Thank you. And about the headache, you remember the headache we talked?
I do.
I don't have the headache. And in that session where we talk about the headache, there were many people talking about that, because this was my dad problem.
Yeah.
And that was so fun because I was laughing. Everybody was so serious, and I was just laughing because already I was changing the memory the way you were giving advice to somebody. Like, see your father with clown nose and the hat with the flowers, and oh my God. And I was thinking, when my father is saying, like, telling me something, and I say, I don't want to do it, and he's like, what? And I see him in that hat and the nose. I was just laughing and laughing. And I think I changed in that moment everything, because I didn't work much about it.
Yes.
So the headache is gone.
Fantastic.
So it's awesome, everything. I'm doing exercise in my second week every day, and then it's awesome. I have a better condition. I feel amazing. I'm awesome.
Yay! And it will just keep snowballing, getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
Well done, Tina.
Yeah, and I just want to say to everybody, like, if you have any problems, like, really, I recommend to take session with Steve, because it's like, it's different. It's like I'm really feeling the different. On my own, I will never get where I am today. So thank you, Steve, and you really, really helped me. You always walk me there where I will never even imagine. Like, it's awesome. Like, I really appreciate it. And I have to say, I had many sessions with Steve before, and I still doing, and it's completely different story. I will never get there where I am by myself. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. And thank you so much for sharing that, Tina, for others to be encouraged as well. Good job. Yes, Steve is amazing with the one-to-one work. So thank you for sharing that. And just for anyone who's watching this, Steve will do a free consultation call with you if you're interested. You can book it through our website. So he'll spend some time with you, talking through what you want to achieve and where the possible references are in your childhood and what the plan would be. And then he'll talk you through what options we have for working one-to-one. So thank you, Tina, for sharing that. I could burst. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
You are amazing. Good job, sweetheart. All right. And Swasti. Hi, Swasti.
Hello.
Hello, sweetheart. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. I had a good weekend. It was busy.
Yeah.
Which is good for me.
Good.
So I just had one question about taking action. And so I'm doing the IQ test. I'm preparing for the IQ test, which I have on the 3rd of August. And then I'm also prepared, in case my grades don't turn out what I want them to be, I am applying for a biomedical course, which is like a lower grade requirement than the medicine one, and also applying for a European course as well, just in case. So taking all this action, I don't know, there's this feeling of, am I doing it right? Am I taking the right action, and how do I feel about it?
Okay, very good question, and you are not alone. So this is brilliant. Thank you for sharing this. So whether you're taking the right action or not actually is not, there is no right action. Okay, and that's going to sound a little bit crazy, but what I always suggest is inspired action, and that comes from the law of attraction, you know, Abraham Hicks and all that. They talk about inspired action. Now, the way so in other words, what that is you can't help yourself. You're taking action because it feels exciting and fun and clear and easy and smooth. You're not taking action because you think you must, or because you think it's the only way to get to your end result. So, and it can be a little bit of a tricky thing to get the conscious mind around, the logic of it, because you think, well, I've got to do all this, you know, I've got to do this work in order to get there. But if you think about it, we can't see very far into the future. Well, we can't see into the future at all. We can't see beyond the very current moment. But the conscious mind is designed to plan, to try and see ahead and try and calculate what's going to happen, and calculate risk and possible routes and that kind of thing. And that's what the conscious mind is designed to do. But it's limited, number one, with what we know, the amount of information the conscious mind is able to handle. And number two, it's very much limited by the programming, because whatever decisions we make consciously are not from the conscious mind. We think they're from the conscious mind, but they're coming from the subconscious. So the question I would ask you is, how does all of this feel?
Yeah, so when I actually applying to the European course felt very spontaneous.
Uh-huh.
And so did the IQ test. I decided yesterday I was going to do the IQ test.
Great.
And I took action today.
Great.
And so at the beginning, it feels like, yes, I'm taking the right thing. And then afterwards, I think, oh, this is going to be really hard.
Okay, good. So then that's the next part of the program. So when you think, let's take one at a time. So the IQ test, what are you hoping to achieve with the IQ test? What's the end result?
So this is how I want it to go.
Yes.
I want to get, so they have scoring from 300 to 900. I want to get above average, so I want to get 700 average over 4 sections.
Okay.
And then band 1 in one of the sections, which is the highest. And then apply, it's called clearing, so you apply for a course on results day. Hopefully achieve 3 A's, get an interview, get an offer, start in September at a medical university.
Fantastic. And how will it feel to be at the university, to be starting that?
A sense of relief, but I guess there'll be some stress there because you've got to keep up the work.
Right. Okay.
You want to keep passing.
So let's take that piece there. It'll be a relief, but it will be some stress because you've got to keep up the work. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah.
Sounds familiar to me from what you've told me.
Yeah.
So that feeling of pressure, you've got to keep up, so do you see how that is a way of recreating, number one, recreating childhood experiences, and then number two, a reason you may keep yourself from doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's change that.
But I'm finding this hard to understand. So is this like doing the same thing again and again?
So what it is so if I remember correctly, one of the themes of your childhood has been the expectations of your parents, and that you constantly you're being pushed to achieve, right?
Yeah.
And so it sounds to me like that may be the same result you're expecting with university.
Yeah.
Right. And the result, it won't be your parents, or it may be your parents as well, but it'll be the lecturers, the university, yourself, that kind of thing. So you'll still have that push, right? Does that make sense? So we want to just make sure that we've changed that. And before we do that, let me ask you this. What is the purpose of going to university? What's the end result you want?
To become a doctor, get a medical degree.
Okay. And why do you want a medical degree?
I really like biology, and I really want to help people, and that I think being a doctor combines both of those things really well. Okay.
So let me ask you, if you were to not become a doctor, what else would you become? What else would you do, I should say?
Probably work in a lab. I find, science is really interesting to me.
Science is interesting to you. Okay, good. And so what I'm trying to hone down to is the effect, how much of it is the genuine enjoyment and how much of it is coming from your parents.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you an example.
Yeah, I've tried to
Pardon?
I've tried to do this as well, but I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. My example, I grew up in a show business family. They're from a long line, 8 generations back, as far back as we could trace, blah, blah, blah. So I grew up as a performer, performing from little, and I absolutely loved what I did. I became a professional actress and singer, and I felt it was who I am, and I absolutely adored it. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. It felt like, really depressing. Until I started changing my childhood and changing the references and all of that. And now I honestly, I know that if I'd grown up in a different family, if I hadn't grown up in a show business family, I would have become a neuroscientist, a psychiatrist, psychologist, psychotherapist, something like that, because now I can feel who I really am. And it's not a performer. I enjoyed it. But what happened is, from little, I noticed the attention I was getting when I performed. There was the pressure, definitely, but there was also the reward. And so my brain learned to love it. So that's just an example of how it can, how it can develop that way. That doesn't mean yours isn't. That doesn't mean yours is like that. I'm saying it also for others watching, but it's a good thing to be aware of.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I just got attention from the fact that whenever I said I want to be a doctor,
Yes.
From a very young age.
That makes sense. Yeah. So let me ask you this. If your parents were artists, let's say that one was a painter, the other one was a dancer or a singer or a performing arts person, what would you now want to do? Would it still be science, or would it be something different?
I mean, I would probably want to do science, but then make me do something else.
Well, yeah. So let's say they didn't make you. Let's say nobody's making you do anything. So you were starting from scratch, and let's do it this way. Let's say that you get to choose. So before you're born, you're asked, now, what kind of parents would you like? What would you like them to do for a living? And what would you like to do for a living, so that you're all doing the same, you're all in the same field? What would you choose?
I don't know.
Okay. But it wouldn't be science necessarily?
But I haven't had exposure to science by that time. So whenever I went to my biology lessons, yes, those would be the only lessons I would look forward to.
Oh, so that's
none of my other ones.
All right. So that's a good sign. That's a good indication. So when you went to biology, that was what you looked forward to.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Okay. Now what we want to end up with is, when you think of going to university to do the medical degree, you're excited. Mm-hmm. Just excited. Sure, it'll be challenging, but you don't want anything about pressure or stress or anything like that. It's just exciting. It feels like what you felt when you went to biology. That's what we're aiming for. Does that make sense?
It's the same feeling. It's like there is a pressure to achieve in biology because the exam papers were hard or whatever, but it's fun.
Okay. All right. Good.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what you're looking for, excitement. Now we want the same excitement moving backwards. We want the same excitement for the IQ test.
Okay.
Okay. So when you think of what you want to get to, now you've got till August, so there's time, right? So what you want to do is practice that end result. Practice, so set that as a touchstone. Yes, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with no details. You don't know how high the score was. Don't worry about that, because that just puts extra, that's just details, and you don't need that. If you practice going, yes, I did it, and you feel that excitement, that feeling, your subconscious will lead you to whatever, and as long as we've changed the references for it, your subconscious will lead you to whatever will get you that feeling. And if that's a score of 700 or higher or not, it doesn't matter. You will end up with that feeling.
Okay.
All right.
So, yeah.
So you want to, and every time you feel any worry, any stress, any pressure,
Mm-hmm.
go into superpower state and redirect. Practice new memories, new childhood memories, where everybody's going, it's effortless. You're a natural. It's just you seem to not even try, because here's the truth, Swasti. You already have that ability.
Yeah.
And so you change those references. Your brain already has the ability. There's no question about it. The only thing that could stop you is the stress chemicals in your system, which take your prefrontal cortex offline, so that you don't have the full access to it. So the great news is you already have that ability, which is fantastic. So now all you need to do is develop the skill of maintaining that feel-good state and keeping those references, changing those references and practicing the new ones.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, so in summary, just focus on the feeling and the references of excitement.
Yes, excitement and yes, I did it. And then the new memories of your parents being very supportive regardless. You are perfect exactly as you are. You know, we love you. We would love you anyway, no matter what you like, but you happen to be so talented, so clever, so perfect, so wonderful.
Okay. And also, I changed the references of life is easy, and things did feel easier.
Good.
Like
Good.
so getting stuff done was quite hard. I don't know. I did not have the motivation, but taking things off. I am taking things off day by day.
Fantastic.
Things are getting easier, but there are still references that I haven't changed. But yeah, I know which ones they are and what I need to do.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well done. So yes, make that your top priority, because changing those references and practicing the new ones is that's your priority, because that's going to have a bigger impact than any other preparation you can do for that exam.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the foundation. And once you've done that, then you can start preparing for the exam, and then your brain is going to take in information more effectively. It's going to process and collate information more easily, and you'll have that working memory, up to scratch as well.
Okay.
Good job, you. Yay, I'm so excited for you.
Gonna have to do the work, but it's exciting too.
Good. And it's, and yes, keep reminding yourself that, isn't it wonderful there is something you can do?
Yeah.
Right? So it's very empowering. Good job, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you. Very good. And did you have any other questions?
No, you can go to everybody else. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. So, Chris, do you have your sound again? I've just tried to unmute you now. There you go. Yay!
I think I froze.
I'm
here. Instead of too good to be true, why not? Life, the universe are bringing only good and abundance to you.
Yes, I like that a lot. I love that.
To be true, and and there'll be tears at bedtime. We're going to have a pillow fighting fun at bedtime.
Very good. Good job. Yes, indeed. And in addition to that, of course, a reminder, and sometimes I need to remind myself of this as well. The reminder of, now that I know I love myself, I cannot create anything bad. It has to, no matter what it looks like, it has to turn out to be either good or nothing to worry about, no matter how convincing it may appear. Just like a scary movie can be really realistic and very convincing, but it's just a movie, even though your brain and body are behaving as if it's real. Good job.
Just a quick question about empowerment and money and wealth and abundance. I've got a little bit caught up in I want to disassociate empowerment from money or wealth, because that money and wealth have the links to this superiority complex that I grew up with. So, and it's rolling over onto the work I'm doing with Daddy, which is coming along really, really nicely. But as soon as I wrote down, so I'm writing his story, part of the story is we live in a hamlet and we have water from a little river, which is all sweet and beautiful, and the spa, which goes back to Roman times, all that sort of thing. And then Daddy, I've written, but I've even changed it to pencil because I wasn't convinced. I've written, Daddy owned all the land as far as the eye could see. Now that doesn't work. So I had to then say, well, whilst he owned great wealth, he was a simple man of the land, and he had knowledge about pastures and woods. So I know I'm sort of doing something there in my mind.
I've got it.
It doesn't like that. Have you got it?
Yes, I completely get that, and you are not alone. This is a very common, very popular reference theme. So, through however we were raised and experiences we've had, there's very often a disconnect between being a good person or a kind person or a generous person and having wealth, and that's a very common thing. So what we want to do is, how do you know that owning all the land as far as the eye can see makes him not everything else you said, not a man of the land? And why is being a simple person more valuable or more important or more desirable than being a wealthy, intellectual business person?
I don't know. Well, I do know, but yeah, that's what I'm caught in that.
Yes, yes. And so what that would be doing is that would be absolutely affecting what you're allowing into your life right now. Right? So you want to do it that, so who do you, let's see, I'm trying to remember, for you, was it, what's his name from Mary Poppins? The ideal.
Oh, Bert.
Bert. Now, can you imagine Bert? You like Bert?
Yes. Oh, he's very easy because Daddy was a Cockney. So, I mean, I go to Bert straight away. Yeah.
Now, I want you to imagine Bert with a lot of land. He's empowered. He has everything he needs. What happens then if you imagine him in that state?
No, that's all right. Yes, that's very easy. Yeah,
good.
That's very easy. Now I've got to put Daddy's face on it, haven't I? Because I can do all the fantasy things.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But Daddy's face to it.
Yes, but first of all, let's just check. So it's okay for someone like Bert to have plenty of wealth, be intelligent, be a businessman.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Okay. So that's the first piece. Now, putting your dad in that place, I want you to imagine your dad. Number one, of course, you need to make sure his childhood is loving, kind, generous. He was treated, with respect. He felt safe. There was a lot of affection, a lot of kindness, a lot of gentleness. Yeah. So that, and so he became wealthy because he's just so lovely. He's, people are drawn to him. He's a dream to do business with, and he's got, unshakable integrity and kindness and generous, and that is why he's so successful. Okay, so there's that. And then if you're struggling with that a little bit, one thing you can do is put your dad into Mary Poppins. Try it that way round.
Okay.
Imagine him dancing with the penguins.
That's even better.
All right. So you might be able to do that. And of course, if all of that is still sticky, you may need another due justice. But I think you'll probably be able to do it.
I think so, yeah.
How does that sound?
No, that's all good. Because that is where I'm working at the moment. When it comes to mummy, I'll have to come back to you.
Absolutely, with pleasure, with pleasure. And every time we do a little bit, every time we discover a new thing and see something slightly differently, every time we hear the same information, even if it's exactly the same, the brain is changing constantly every time, and we're always making progress forward toward what we want. So well done. Good for you.
Thank you.
All right. Good job, sweetheart. It's a pleasure. All right. So let's check the chat. Steve, is
okay. Yeah. I am going to highlight a couple of questions. One from Camilla, who's off camera. I'm a little stuck changing some memories. I get frustrated when I don't find the memories that I need to change quick. I also feel a little desperate when I don't find the memories that I need to change quick. I think that part of my being stuck is that I feel I have too much stuff to change, and I'm tired just thinking of it. To find the reference for this, I feel physically tired when I think of that because sometimes I can't find the memory, and I feel a little desperation like I'm never going to be okay and happy. My mom has always been super dramatic and unhappy, and she always struggles. So I changed that to her being happy and empowered in my childhood.
Okay, very, very good, Camilla. Well done for reaching out for help on this, and well done for the work you've already done. And you are not alone. This is very common, and I had this a lot. So feeling overwhelmed because I just, when I thought of how much, Tina's nodding as well, how much it just feels impossible. So lots of us are very familiar with that. And the fact that we've managed to change it shows you that that's an illusion. So a couple of things. When you can't find specific memories, try just making one from scratch. Try imagining what a memory that proves what you want now from scratch. And as you do that, you will probably find that thoughts and feelings come up that contradict it. If they don't, that's great. Then just practice the new memory. But if those come up, you may find flashes of memories come up. And here's a tip. Sometimes they won't appear to be connected. Sometimes it'll be like, well, what's that got to do with this? But if it's come up, it means your subconscious has found a way to link it in some way. So then change it. So whatever comes up, change that. So the key point here is, if you cannot find specific memories that link to the current issue you want to change, start them from scratch. Just imagine something differently, and you'll find that they'll probably, you may get some to change that come up. So keep in mind that what you want to end up with is a whole new childhood, and your parents and grandparents whole new childhoods. So that doesn't need to be a lot of detail. It doesn't need to take long. It can just be imagining, like for me, I imagine my grandparents and mum and dad as children, and the girls are in these pretty little dresses, and the boys are cheerful, and that to me represents a fabulous childhood. That's all I have. I don't have a lot of stuff there. And then so you can do little, and it's different for different people. You can do stories, or you can just do bookmarks, little flashes of memories that create that feeling. So I hope that helps. If not, let me know what you need more clarification on. But I do want to assure you that it is absolutely possible, and it doesn't need to take long, and it doesn't need to be a lot of detail. You're very welcome, sweetheart. And don't hesitate to let us know if you need more. Okay. So, and of course, Steve, could you add that to the target list, Camilla? So
Yep.
we will add to the target list of loving that whole situation, all the memories, whether you change them or not, the part of you that feels overwhelmed. We'll target that today.
And there's another question in here from Carrie, which I think is an interesting one for everyone as well. I wrote a due justice letter to God, which started with the statement, WTF, dude. And I find that I say that throughout my day. Should I write another letter until the feeling and statement go away?
Okay. All right. So the answer is absolutely write it until you have said everything and there isn't any more to say, and until you're able to think of whether it's God or one of your parents or whoever you wrote the letter to, and you're able to change it to love. You're able to feel love, unconditional love. So you were able to go into that superpower state. And so whatever references there are, therefore, God being something or someone that affects your life, and what those expectations are. So I had a lot of those myself, where I was like, can I get some help here, please? What the hell? What am I supposed to do? What do you want me to do? What more do you want? A lot of that. So, your addressing God is actually to one of your parents or someone else from your childhood as well. So you may want to go earlier, and it may start with God, but then check who else in your childhood did you feel that WTF, dude? All right. So and do that. Write the letter to them and change that. But yes, you want to keep writing it until there's nothing left to say. Everything has been said, and that child in you feels like now justice has been done. They've now been told off suitably, and they now have been, that issue has been addressed. So I hope that helps. Again, let me know if you need more.
Yes, and another question, I think this was in regards to another question you were answering a little bit earlier, but question, does creating memories that I got praised for not doing anything, not getting good grades, not remembering anything, etc., make me lazy?
Oh, good one. Very, very good one. And the answer is no, they do not make you lazy. And I'll tell you something else. I don't believe in the quality of laziness. I don't believe lazy exists, and I'll tell you why. I believe lack of motivation exists, lack of inspiration, depression, feeling bad, not, feeling tired, those kind of things. But laziness is you're just not in that state of inspiration. So being praised for not doing, for not doing anything, what that will, and not getting good grades, what that does, rather than make you lazy, that gives you self-esteem, that builds your self-worth, because you don't have to do anything to be loved and to be safe. And that's key. That is a key message to give to your subconscious and the child in you. You do not, there's nothing you need to do to be loved and to be safe. So you could sit there and watch TV all day or play a game, and you will still be loved and be safe. And that is, I'm repeating it a few times because I can't tell you how important that is. And from that, so here's the thing. If you did, let's say a person sat and watched TV all day, and as long as it's nice stuff, as long as you're watching things that are happy, that make you laugh, that make you feel good, so you've got, so no news and stress stuff, just feel good chemicals all day, there is no way that you would spend very long doing that, because at some point those chemicals are going to kick in and your brain is going to want to do something else. Your body is going to want to do something else. So you will get to a point where you think, you know what, I feel like doing something. I feel like cleaning the house. I feel like doing some exercise. I feel like learning something. There you will, and I'm getting waves of goosebumps as I'm saying this, but this is the truth. There's no such thing as lazy. So I hope that helps. So absolutely create as many memories and references of you as a child being told that, and it being proven, where you're sitting playing a game and your parents are going, hey, can I get you anything? Oh, how's it going? Giving you a hug, supportive, kind, compassionate, and fun. So I hope that helps. And anything else?
Just to follow up, and that wouldn't be stepping stones?
No. Well, I mean, you could, so I would say those are not stepping stones, those are core memories. Those are core memories, and then you could create additional memories where you're all doing something together, or you're doing something and they're praising you. But the foundation memories need to be proof that you are perfect exactly as you are, and no matter what you do, and whether you do something or not. That's key. And then you can create, like I say, additional data, additional memories of you're doing something, you're being praised for something, you're the top of the class, you get 100% on your tests. That's separate piece of data in your subconscious, and whatever else you want to achieve now, you could put into your childhood as well. Is that good? Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much, Odile. You're very welcome. I'm so glad it helps. Good job. And thank you very much for bringing that up here, because this is so important for others as well. So that's wonderful. All right. Are we ready to go into the targeting? Great. Thanks, Steve. And let's take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer, and go into your superpower state. However you do that, either by repeating your word or phrase, or using your anchor, or focusing in on hugging your subject and all the things you love and appreciate about that subject. Very, very good. And start to feel your heart opening. Feel that expansion feeling in your chest. Allowing that light to shine out from your heart. Feeling your power. And now allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy. And allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Very good. And now fill your subject with that light, that energy. From the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips, love that subject just for existing. And now imagine that subject doesn't want to be with you, or they don't have the qualities that you love and appreciate, and keep them filled with that light, that energy anyway. Love them anyway. Very good. And now let's go to Tina. Fill Tina with that light, that energy, that love, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Tina just for existing. Very good. And I want you to allow that light, that energy to go to her arm in particular, the arm that hurt. Go to that arm. She says it's hurting less, but it's still hurting. So fill her arm, fill Tina's arm with that same light, that love, that energy. Love Tina's arm just for existing, whether it hurts or not, exactly as it is. Loving it all anyway. Good job. And now let's go to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. Very good. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Lisa and fill the financial circumstances and conditions for everyone in the world exactly as they are, shining that light into any darkness, loving it all exactly as it is. And now allow that light, that energy to fill all of the politicians around the world, from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips, shining that light into any darkness, loving them exactly as they are, whether they change or not, no matter what they do. Shining that light, loving it all exactly as it is. Very good. And now to Katrina. Fill Katrina with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Katrina just for existing. Very good. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Katrina and fill all of the creating new memories. So her creating new memories and everyone else. Fill the creating of new memories with that same light, that energy, whether it's easy and effortless or not. Love it all exactly as it is. Shining that light into any darkness, filling the difficulty of changing memories, creating new memories. Fill it all with that love, that light, that energy. Love it all exactly as it is. Good job. And now to Chris. Fill Chris with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris just for existing. Very, very good. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Chris and fill her dad exactly as he is. from the tips of his toes to the top of his head and out to his fingertips, however he is represented in her memories. The new dad, the old dad, and all the dads in between. Love it all exactly as it is, without needing it to change, shining the light into any darkness. And now allow that light or energy to fill the part of Chris that has trouble changing her dad sometimes. Love that part of Chris exactly as it is. Shining that light into the darkness, loving that part without needing it to change, exactly as it is. Loving it all anyway. Good job. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti just for existing. And now to the IQ exam and all of the other achievements that Swasti would like to achieve. Fill all of that, the studying, the preparing, the changing of the memories, the references, fill all of that with that light, that energy, that love, whatever may happen, shining that light into any darkness, and no matter how it goes, no matter which outcome, love it all exactly as it is anyway. Feeling that power, filling all of that. Very, very good. And now to Camilla. Fill Camilla with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Camilla just for existing. Very good. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Camilla and fill the part of her that feels frustrated with not finding memories and unable to change them, unable to make changes. Fill all of that. Fill the frustration, the not finding memories, and the feelings of not being able to change. All of that. Fill it all with that light, that energy, shining the light into any darkness, loving it all exactly as it is, and loving Camilla exactly as she is anyway. Very, very good. And now to Carrie. Fill Carrie with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Carrie just for existing. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Carrie and fill everything and everyone in her life. Shining that light into any darkness, all the circumstances, all the experiences, all the people, loving it all exactly as it is. Using that power, shining that light into any darkness. Very, very good. And now to all those off camera today, all those who are on the call but aren't on camera, shining that light, that energy, filling them from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips, loving each one just for existing, no matter what they're going through, no matter what they're experiencing, loving them all exactly as they are, shining that light into any darkness. Very good. And now yourself, later today, fill that version of you with that light, that energy, that love, no matter what you'll be doing or experiencing or feeling. Love that version of you exactly as it is, exactly as you are. Shining that light into any darkness. Loving it all exactly as it is. Good job. And now pick one target that triggers you, a person, a situation, circumstances, an event, whatever it is, something that triggers you, and keep yourself filled with that light, that energy, and fill that target with that light, that energy, that love exactly as it is. Even if it never changes, even if it gets worse, love it exactly as it is, shining that light into any darkness. This is your power. Feel that expansion as you do that. Feel the power of the unconditional bit. Very good. And now allow yourself to receive the light, the energy, the love from me and everyone else in the group, filling you up with light and energy and love, loving you exactly as you are, no matter what. Very, very good. Good job. And you can open your eyes if you have them closed. And how's everyone doing? Swasti says, sorry for asking this now, but I just need this clarification so I can start this work straight away. Of course, no problem. Should I now create references for excitement and I love my life, and references to do with the IQ test, parents' expectations and pressure, and change contradicting memories as they come up? Yes. So the short answer is yes, but let me unmute you in case you had more. So that's spot on, Swasti. All right, so hopefully that helps. Hopefully that gives you the answer there. Is that good? All right. Okay, no problem. And so then we'll see you back tomorrow. We'll see everybody back tomorrow, same time, same place. Well done, all of you, for the progress you're making. And remembering that Wednesday, this session will be an hour later with our French guests, with this same group that Sylvie is running in France are going to be joining us, which is very exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, and I think that was all, right? And any other questions, go to our website or ask in the comments. All right, lots of love to all of you. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.